Caroline Mitchell Carrico. I graduated from CBU in 2010 with a degree in history, and now I am the exhibit design coordinator at the Memphis Pink Palace Museum, where I do a lot of research and writing for new exhibits. I grew up going to CBU homecomings and being on campus, and I had applied to a lot of schools, but CBU was very generous with the scholarships that they offered, and so I ended up going there. And now I have two brothers who are undergraduates and one brother who works in admissions, so CBU is pretty much a part of our family tradition. I lived on campus all 4 years, and so I have a lot of very great memories living in Marillion and Capstone. I especially loved being able to be in class and run to my room really quick if I forgot something. There's one very memorable occasion where I was in class with Dr. Carrico and I couldn't see out of my contacts anymore, so I just left and walked over to my dorm, which they could have seen out the window had they been looking since the buildings were connected, and went and got my glasses and came back. In the history department, there's a few professors that I got really close to, and they actually went from being my advisors to being more like mentors, and in the case of one professor, then my boss when I started teaching in the history department. And then also through the honors program, I got to know a lot of my professors on a deeper level. Like, they would come to events with us, and so I got to, like, for example, get to know Dr. Leib when he came actually to the Pink Palace with us to come see an IMAX about NASA, and he knows a whole lot about NASA and the space age. And so getting to talk to him about one of his interests outside of the classroom and getting to know him that way, it was just something that really stuck with me. I actually started at the Pink Palace when I was a sophomore at CBU. I was offered the opportunity to come and work in the exhibits department doing basically clerical stuff. I monitored our budget and not super exciting things, but as I spent time here, it kind of became apparent to my coworkers and to me that I had a real aptitude for museum work. So I started doing research and writing for exhibits, which is what I spend most of my time on now. So I research for new exhibits, I write the panels, and all of that. So at CBU in the history department, they had us do a lot of research. So each semester, one of the history classes would have a major research component to it. And my professors really urged me to use the sources that were available, which here meant local history. So I really got to know as an undergraduate where all the archives are in town, who to talk to, who knew a lot of information and could point me in the right direction. The most exciting thing I'm doing right now is we're completely redesigning the Pink Palace Mansion, and I am intimately involved with that. I've done a lot of the initial research and I'm writing panels now. So we're basically turning the mansion from the place people remember it to something completely new that's going to tell the history of Memphis in a new way. And it is really exciting to be a part of that, to be a part of turning a Memphis landmark into something better than it was before. And like I said before, a lot of what I learned at CBU is coming into play now. I'm using a lot of the same contacts I made as an undergraduate when I was doing research about the pyramid to do research now about the Piggly Wiggly. And it's really nice to have built up those relationships over 8 years now instead of starting from scratch. At CBU, I learned to think of my community broadly as the city of Memphis and more locally as the people that I had classes with or with the honors program. And so now I see service as something that I can apply in multiple different aspects of my life. So for instance, at work, I view my coworkers as a community, and part of that means doing things that might not be in my official job description, but that help a museum as a whole become a more important part of our local community. Part of that is writing the Pink Palace blog. It's something I'm doing to help the marketing department that also lets us show the community why we matter. I think that what's really important is finding something you're passionate about outside of your career and seeing how you can help other people with it. I am an avid gardener and I'm really interested in food systems, so I like to help grow Memphis wherever I can. Part of it was I got to know them through another CBU alum I went to school with, Chris Peterson, and I've stayed involved with them over the years because our interests have aligned. So I think for young alums, it's finding something you're passionate about and making it a point to stay with it after school. And it's not always giving money, because a lot of people don't have a lot of money to give. but people can always use your time.